Hi, this is Andres, and today I want to show you a complete solution that allows you to manage orphan resources in the Power Platform. Now, this solution, although being a complete solution, can be used as an accelerator so that you extend it and adapt it to comply to your policies and any other compliance requirements that your organization has. Now, before jumping to the demo, we need to do a small disclaimer here. Why I'm not using the out of the box, let's say, or the provided solution that comes with the Center of Excellence Starter Kit. And while I've talked about that in a previous video in my channel, this is not the most suitable solution, although it's a great starting point for some organizations. It has several deficiencies that, makes me say that it's not the best way to solve this problem. Now, for me, the deficiencies that this process has is first, the how hard is to extend it because this is designed as a couple of big flows that do everything inside, not much modularity there, and also because it's using extensively the Teams connection, and there are two main problems when we use Teams to solve these kind of problems. First is the user experience with team cards. It's more or less easy to use, but for complex processes where we need lots of inputs and branches, if the user says that, please ask that as mandatory, etc. It's quite complex to manage using Teams cards. And most importantly, if we are also using approvals, it's very this one is a tough problem because approvals needs that the user who receives the approval is also inside the system user table in the environment, meaning that it needs to be a user inside the environment. And normally the recommended way to handle the Center of Excellence environment where we have the Center of Excellence Starter Kit installed in is to protect it with a security role so that only admins access it. And this is usually the case because we don't want all organizations to have a premium license and consume the apps that the Center of Excellence Starter Kit provides. So if the user is not in the environment, which is the normal use case because we protect it with a security group, then we have a problem because we cannot send an approval to them. Well, and with that, let's start with the demo. First of all, how can you identify orphaned resources using the Center of Excellence Starter Kit? Because remember, this demo I'm going to show you, this accelerator that we have, is an extension on top of the Center of Excellence. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to extend this great solution that we already have. And you can see here in the screenshots for apps, there is a view called Orphan Canvas Apps. And for flows, we have both abandoned and orphan flows. The difference basically is that abandoned are flows whose owner is still in the organization, but haven't been triggered in a long period of time. And here's the solution. It's a model-driven app to manage the whole process of orphan resources. We have here a maker who conveniently has been deleted by myself so that we can test the process together. And this user has 3 apps who have become orphaned. Now, in this solution that I'm demoing today, we have this, let's go back to the editor mode. Now, we have a main flow that's going to trigger when we detect that a maker becomes orphaned. And you see here that I'm using the maker table from the Center of Excellence Starter Kit, and we detect when one becomes a maker becomes an orphan, then we trigger this whole process, and this whole process will start the whole orphan management solution. And what we are going to do now is manually trigger, because I deleted all the resources for the demo sake here, I'm going to manually trigger using the previous execution, and then just hit it and wait for it to happen. All right, and it's done. So now what we have here, if we refresh, is that we have this record that is representing the whole process. So we're going to have per each of the orphan makers, we're going to have resources here to manage these processes. What we have here is that we are storing who's the manager, who's the owner, who's the maker, and what are the affected resources. Okay, in this case, all 3 Canvas apps. And if we click here and open in a new tab, we see that this resource is exactly the Canvas app, and this is the Power Apps app, the entity from the Center of Excellence. So we are extending the Center of Excellence, and because we want to enrich those functionalities, not reinvent them. And now the most important feature from this process is to, with this View Process tab, is to see where we are at exactly during this orphan management process, because, well, now this is an accelerator, it's a small solution, but we can adapt it to very complex organizational needs, and even have these 3 strike policies where if the manager doesn't answer after 3 times that we try to contact them, then we automatically delete the resource. These kind of policies we can implement in very easily and see where we are at the process at any given time. Now, here we are now stopped at this part of the process, which is Send Manager Questionnaire Dialog. And now I'm going to open that, which is going to be a mail with a link to a questionnaire to fulfill my decisions as a manager on top of these resources. So here we are in my email, and I have here a typical template email with a link to this questionnaire, and this is going to redirect me to a dialog. Now this dialog is going to allow me to go through a guided user experience where I will be able to make decisions for each of the resources affected. So I'm going to hit next here. And here I'm going to be presented with a grid with all the orphan resources. And basically have to go one by one, selecting a resource, hitting next, and making a decision. What do? We are going to delete this resource, and well, because it's no longer needed. Okay, and if we do that, then we are going to be able uh, to delete the resource automatically following the process. If I was to reassign the resource, then you see I'm asked a new field automatically to select who is going to be the new owner. So with a dialog experience, a guided experience, we can tailor how we want to deal with the resources very easily. Let's go back to delete in this case, hit next. And what happens now is that I have already made a decision for that returns, so I can go to the next one and fill in all the information for all the 3 different Canvas apps, in this case, that I was in charge of reassigning or deleting. Now we'll go back to the Canvas app, sorry, the model-driven app. Here we see that this app that we just made a decision upon has a decision to be deleted, and behind the scenes flow is going to be run to delete that resource based on our decision. Now, what are the technologies that we've used to implement this process? Is basically, well, you see a model-driven app, basically Dataverse, then Dataverse on top of the existing solution of the Center of Excellence Starter Kit. So again, we are extending the current solution that's provided by Microsoft right now. And then we have what's the technology that we are using to deal with this process, to see this process live. Well, this is called AgileXRM, and it's a great product that we are using more in newer clients in B2B Consulting, the company I helped to found recently. And well, this is a great product that allows us to extend in a very visual way and manage lots of processes in a very effective manner. And here you see, well, this is actually the how we can interact with the product. This is Visio. We have an add-in in top of Visio where we can put these boxes and configure them to basically set up how the process is going to look like, put weights, and create records, update records in Dataverse, send email notifications, and create these dialogues where you have this guided user experience to make any decision. Well, and that's that. Thank you very much for watching till the end. I hope this was useful. And well, if you want to have any more information about this accelerator or the technology behind, just let me know in the comments. Contact me over LinkedIn or my personal website. And well, let's keep the conversation going. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Bye.